Normally I open one of these videos by saying whatever the name of the game is sucks, but for this video I'd like to open instead with Halo Infinite sucks, but it doesn't have to. Before you hear all of my thoughts and views on everything in the game thus far, I do want to preface it all by saying that this is coming from someone who's played Halo for well over a decade, who has been waiting for 6 years for a new Halo game to release, and was given this. So there's absolutely going to be some bias in this video. Let's break it down. Firstly, before going into anything else, let's talk about the bread and butter of Halo, the gunplay and Sandbox. Do I think the Sandbox itself is fun? Yeah, in more than a few good ways. There's a new weapon archetype now, electrical guns like the Shock Cannon and Disruptor, which are able to chain lightning between enemy players and disable vehicles. They've come up with some good concepts for new weapons. The Forerunner guns, especially, like the Heat Wave and the Cinder Shot, genuinely feel like weapons that the Forerunners would have used, and they look the part too, unlike the Promethean weapons from Halos 4 and 5. That being said, I do think that the Sandbox has suffered far more than it has benefited. The Ravager, a sort of plasma launcher, feels nearly useless after its nerfs from the flight. The Commando kicks like a mule and is nearly uncontrollable on console, though I've heard and seen it do a lot better in the hands of PC players. The BR feels satisfying when it works, but more often than not is outshot by the Sidekick pistol, since the latter can't be descoped. Don't ask me whose idea that was. And has just about the same range, with a far faster and more reliable hit registration. As a result, most people just end up sticking with the starting weapons, the Sidekick and AR, which pretty much have the optimum time to kill at close and mid-range over any other gun anyway. And this isn't even mentioning all the other weapons from the Halo weapon sandbox which are missing. The SMG, the grenade launcher, the DMR, staples like the plasma rifle, the fuel rod cannon, beam rifle, plasma and chain gun turrets, the Spartan laser, the Covenant carbine. Even newer guns like the concussion rifle, plasma caster, railgun, storm rifle, saw, and sticky detonator felt like they'd earned their place in the series. And don't even get me started on the Mauler, the Spiker, and the Brute Shot. How do you make a new Halo game where the Brutes return and you're fighting them as the main enemy and you don't even bring their staple weapons back? We've also lost the Mantis, Gauss turrets, any non-human squad vehicle like the Prowler, which, by the way, this would have been the perfect opportunity for it to make its return. And the Falcon and Hornet have once again been passed up for the Wasp. And what guns have stayed have been somewhat changed. The M6D Magnum has been swapped for the Sidekick, the classic shotgun for the Bulldog, which is laughably weak. In cases like the Hydra, which is the same gun, only in name, and is essentially more fun to watch reload than it is to actually try and use the damn thing to kill anyone. Vehicles seem to either not have nearly enough health to warrant their use, or be nearly impossible to kill without something like a skewer or rocket. Opinions on this one seem to be a bit divided, though I'd imagine it's a lot harder to think that they have less HP than normal when people are stuck trying to kill several for a weekly challenge or risk not progressing at all. We'll get to that in a minute. There's also the issue of actually playing the game. Many players, including myself, feel that aiming is inconsistent and frustrating at the best of times, especially on controller, and doesn't feel at all like previous Halo titles. Other players, mostly PC, maintain that aim assist is entirely too strong and acts as nearly an aimbot. I've actually made a video breaking this down by comparing Infinite's aim assist level to Halo 3's and showing that it's objectively weaker. Now, I'm not saying that PC doesn't have any issues, they very well might. No player base, however, should be this divided on whether or not controller aiming is impossible to play against or impossible to play with. I'm starting to suspect that there might be a bug involved, perhaps one that's tied more or less to damage or hit registration based on frame rate or something similar. I know Titanfall 2 and Apex Legends have suffered from this before, but maybe that's just a Source Engine thing, and besides, this is all pure speculation. All in all, the game has potential, but suffers from some critical oversights and lack of balance, leading some, including myself, to feel that it's a bit limited and somewhat stale. Time will tell if 343 plans on improving this, or if they've simply taken weapons out of the game so that they can introduce them later under the pretense of more content. Next, we'll talk about progression. This and customization seem to be the main topics which have stirred up the Halo community like a hive of wasps you've just shot with a paintball gun. Progression is no longer awarded in the form of XP, which you earn based on your match performance and length, but instead is solely tied to challenges, specifically weekly challenges, which provide anywhere from 100 to 250 XP per challenge and require you to, for example, get 3 splatters with vehicles or kill 25 enemies in a certain game mode. This has had the unfortunate but extremely predictable effect of causing the player base to basically forget the objective altogether in most games and focus only on getting their challenges done. And why shouldn't they? Winning and losing has zero effect at the end of the game. There's no career stats page for players like previous Halos. Victory is a hollow and unrewarding screen of your Spartan standing at attention for about 4.5 seconds. If you're like me, then perhaps you drew the short straw from RNG's hands and have been stuck with the same 4 challenges for days. In my personal case, I'm supposed to destroy an enemy ghost, splatter 3 enemies, destroy enemy wasps, and kill someone with a gun goose's grenades. My 1 splatter I managed to get didn't count because the game disconnected me mid-match. I've only seen 2 enemy ghosts since getting this challenge. One's driver was shot out of the seat before I could kill him, and one driver bailed before I could deliver the finishing blow, so don't even ask me about the wasps, and you'll see my attempt at the Gun Goose challenge here in a second. Each level is 1000 XP, and 343 recently edited the challenges to give you 50 XP for completing a match. So in my case, as I'm unable to make any progress on these challenges, I'm stuck playing 20 games to go up a single level, which kind of feels pretty shitty. There's no actual ranking or level system in Infinite. Not that it would matter, since you can't see any other player's info until after the game, thanks to a total lack of pre-game lobby. Thanks for that. So when talking about progression, it's good to remember that the term is strictly being used by me in reference to Battle Pass progression. And what is the Battle Pass tied to? You guessed it, customization. This topic has people foaming at the mouth, and for good reason. As a result of 343 making Infinite free to play, they've decided to monetize their game by locking essentially all customization away behind paywalls. No helmets, no shoulders, no chests, no colors, nothing for you unless you shell out money to pay for the Battle Pass or an armor bundle in the in-game shop. One particular bundle, the Zvezda armor set, for example, contains a pair of shoulders, a chest piece, a helmet and its attachment, and a white and cyan coating for $20. What if you're not going to use any of the armor? What if you just want the coating to paint your Spartan? Still $20. And this isn't even a customizable coating, mind you. It's completely locked to whatever armor core it's been assigned by 343. So if you want to use your Mark 5B core, for example, all that armor, can't use these colors with them. The Battle Pass itself has armor and colors too, though it's a bit sparse on them in actual content. 40 of the free reward tiers are simply challenge swaps, one-time consumables which let you change out weekly challenges. Ironically, I could do with a couple of those right now. Other tiers may have a single shoulder, not even the pair of them, or kits which aren't customizable in any way. What are kits? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Kits are pre-assembled sets of armor which 343 has curated for you. They come with their own helmet, shoulders, chest, and color assignment, as well as whatever other customizable bits there are, like utilities, wrist accessories, etc. Here's the catch. These kits are not allowed to be broken up in any way. Example? Here's the Sentinels kit I purchased purely for the color coding. White and dark gray with magenta. I fucking love magenta. But as you can see, it's completely inseparable from the kit as a whole. If I change even one piece of armor, the rest of the kit goes away, including the coating. Maybe I want to change my helmet, nope, back to green. Shoulders, back to green. Chest, back to green. And I've got to have this stupid emblem of the esports team this kit was based on, plastered on my chest's collar piece. Honest to God, I have no fucking clue who the Sentinels are, nor do I care to be one of their shills. But this is the only way to wear these colors, so I'm stuck with it. On the bright side, since I can't use any other armor with this color coding, I now have exactly zero incentive to spend any money whatsoever on future armor pieces, whether they be in a battle pass or a store bundle, as they aren't compatible with these colors. So I guess that's kind of a win. Thanks, 343. The color system as a whole is just hot trash. But before I explain why, let's give you some context for the history of customization in Halo. In Halo Combat Evolved, you could just change your Spartan's armor color. In Halo 2, you could change your primary and secondary colors, create a custom emblem, And you could change your species to either a Spartan or an elite. In Halo 3, they went further. You could change your primary color, secondary color, tertiary accent, emblem, species, voice type, and you could now change armor pieces unlocked through achievements and multiplayer ranks to make your armor and character look unique. In Halo Reach, elite armor was changed somewhat to complete specialized sets, but Spartan armor now offered the additional options to change your knee plates, to add attachments to your helmet, to swap your body model between male and female, to get a utility pack, add a wrist device, change your visor color. You could choose what pieces you unlocked with an in-game credit system. Bungie went all out. Then we get to Halo 4. The art style is changed completely, but let's just set that aside for now. Halo 4 adds the option to change your leg plating as a whole and your forearm plating, both good intentioned options. They add more visor colors, alternate skins and patterns for armor pieces. It's a pretty solid idea. But what does it all cost? The complete removal of playable elites, which is a huge blow. Attachments are also gone, but thankfully pretty much all of the armor is unlocked through playing the game and earning points, completing commendations, etc. Honestly, it's not a bad system. Maybe weaker than Reach's, but not bad. Then Halo 5 comes around and says, oh, you like customizing your armor? You like that? Well, we're going to lock it all away behind random loot boxes, which may or may not give you the armor you want, and you have to either earn enough points through grinding multiplayer to get a pack, or you can pay us a few dollars and buy however many packs you want. But the armor wasn't even fully customizable either. While visors and helmets are still their own pieces, all of the shoulders, legs, chest pieces, and forearms were bundled together and only usable in complete sets. As you can imagine, this was another huge blow to customization. Features that had been around for 8 years at this point were being removed, elites still weren't playable, emblems weren't customizable until a patch was later added to at least let you color them how you want, and all of the armor you could get was locked behind either a grueling grind or expensive receipt. But there's not much 343 could do to make it worse, is there? Oh, they made it worse. Mind you, everything I've listed so far has been for free. Even Halo 5, technically, since you could choose not to buy the packs and instead spend rec points to earn them, though it was still a shit system. Now in Halo Infinite, you can't even choose your own colors. First they took elites, then they took armor customization, now they've taken your color choice. Your only available options are whatever pre-assigned coatings 343 decides to give you. Your favorite armor colors are red and gold, and they've been like that since Halo 2. Tough shit, pay up $20. Want a slightly lighter brown? $5 bundle. Want a red that actually looks red instead of like Ron Weasley's Christmas sweater? That'll be $10, son. Not to even mention that last one was actually available as cadet red in the flight, and they've since removed it from the starting colors to package it into the store. Even Destiny, which uses a similar color system called shaders, lets you put any shader you unlock on any piece of armor, regardless of class, and also lets you put them on most weapons too. Not the case with Infinite. Just to give a comparison here, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, Anthem did a better job of customization. Fucking Anthem. The flop of a game that feels like it was wrapped together with spit, duct tape, and a bit of chewing gum. Here's a demonstration. In Anthem, you can change all the standard pieces of your armor. Helmet, arms, legs, chest, but you also can customize your javelin through 7 layers where you can choose whatever material and color you want for different sections of your armor. And most of this, by the way, totally free. You earn coins through gameplay, which can be used to purchase additional vinyls, textures, materials, and armor, or use microtransaction currency to buy them instead, but you're given a huge amount of color and material customization right off the bat, as well as not having to rely on only monetary purchases to get new armor. The fact that Anthem, of all games, has this in-depth of a system, and 343 says that they can't even let you choose different colors? It's nothing less than a slap in the face. It's a shame, too, since the actual depth of armor customization looks like it has the potential to be the best it's ever been in Halo. You can change your shoulders, chest, helmet, body build type, attachments, what generation of armor you want to wear, knee pads, wrist device, visor color, utility piece. It's actually pretty sweet. No playable elites again, but at least the Spartans are back in style. Or they would be, but you're never going to be able to actually use and equip any armor you want unless you pay Daddy 343, as someone on Reddit has calculated thus far, over $1,300 to unlock everything.
Do I look like I have $2 million?
Well, you have 24 hours to find it, or else you'll have to go to jail for 8 million years.
I've already spent too much time on this video, and I haven't even gotten to other things like the inability to choose what game mode you want to matchmake for, which is impacting people's ability to progress challenges. The fact that 343 is still charging full price for the campaign, which means that previous Halo veterans, who already were expecting to spend $60 for both the full campaign and multiplayer experiences, are now spending $60 on top of whatever and however much they spend for the customization they want. How the UI design is abysmal, and 343 still hasn't learned after a decade how to use vertical lists or categories to organize game modes and maps like previous Halo. Seriously, how many of these modes, how are any of these in order? Seriously, how are any of these modes in order? And what's with all the freaking drop-down menus? Wouldn't a simple design like Halo 3's have been more efficient and less obstructive? Games are supposed to feel like they improve upon their predecessors over time, not like they regress to being worse than 14-year-old games at simple functions. And even with all this being said, I still think Infinite could have a chance at a bright future. That depends, however, on their decisions concerning their predatory monetary practices, their inconsistent aiming mechanics, their anti-player mindset when it comes to rewards and progression, and whether or not they actually feel like being honest with the player base going forward, seeing as they're now deleting old waypoint posts where they gave a very different idea of how this game was going to be structured. I'm not kidding on that, by the way. They legitimately are trying to hide the truth of what they said before because it contradicts the current state of the game so drastically. I'll even add a link to that Reddit post in the description for you to have fun reading for yourself. Seriously, go check it out. All in all, this game is going to be a total uphill battle for 343 Industries. Not just for them to actually improve the overall experience, but also for them to regain the player base's trust, which has been broken over and over and over again. And frankly, I'm done waiting for them to do so.